Hello, everyone. Good morning to you all. Hey, don't lay eggs here. That's banned. Hi, Dot. You got your Friday burger? Hell yeah. I made some fucking pancakes. Let me get a janitor for those eggs. No, we can't afford a janitor. That's why the eggs are a problem. There's just eggs everywhere. And yes, it's quite yucky and gross. How's the audio sounding, everyone? Got a bit of a sound check to do? Music is a little loud compared to the voice. All right. How's this? We're going to be doing something a little different today. Okay, dope. So, how many of you actually did the reading? Air finger touch. Hey, don't worry about it. We're going to do something a little different today, because I've been kind of sick this week and was not able to do as much of the reading as I wanted to do. So, instead of playing Warframe, we're going to be playing Elden Ring today, and every time I die, I'm going to do some of the reading for y'all. It's a lot. It's a lot of shit, and it's a lot of diverse shit. Just learning Egyptian to procrastinate on other stuff I had to do. That's a valid thing. Enriching your brain, learning more about history. This is my first stream here, so no reading at all during stream, gotcha. What's the reading? It's in the Discord. It's in book club. The reading was... Here, let me pull it up. Magic, Witchcraft, and Ghosts in the Greek and Roman Worlds by Daniel Ogden, a source book. You forgot your wizard homework? Banned. I ask you to show up to Philosophy Friday, and you don't have any philosophy? For shame. For shame. You read some of it? Yeah, me too. I got about halfway through. I forgot my homework. Don't you worry. We're gonna handle it. Also, again, apologies. There are people using leaf blowers, like, right outside my house. Gosh. There's a Discord? There's a book club? Yeah. One of these days I'll figure out how to, like, pin a link to the Discord to this, but don't worry about it too much. This is only, like, the third one of these that we've ever done. All I remember is Pythagoras basically being the coolest dude, I swear, who can do everything. Yeah, he's got a golden thigh, didn't you know? Apparently I don't even read the post, let alone do the reading. Don't worry about it. That's what I'm here for. Right? We're just gonna play some games, we're gonna talk about philosophy. Whatever gets it into your brain. Do you want me to make you a Discord command? If you'd like, James. Feel free. I can do that real quick on my end. Feel free, James. I don't want to make you do nothing. You are sort of the stream's designated work pig, and I don't want to overuse you. Your expertise is appreciated. Hyena boob and deer dick in gazelle skin prevent miscarriage? Yup. Yup, that's true. It is known among the wise. Ugh. See, my mic is pretty good, but the stand is just a little bit too short for me, so I have to slouch to talk into it. I need to get a proper mic arm. Can prevent just about anything with a little bit of hyena. They have a weird fixation on hyenas. They love hyenas in ancient Greek magic. Stop being like 6'7". I'm not that tall. I'm only 6'2". Taller than me? Yup. Not dissimilar to modern furries. They are in... What's the word for it? Like... They are fascinating little creatures, aren't they? Kinda dogs, but not really dogs. They're like dog-shaped, but not dogs. Am I quiet? I was fucking with my audio setup earlier, hang on. Yeah, kinda quiet. How does this sound? Hello, hello. Any better? Pretty good. Any change, though? Sounds good to me. Okay, I think the connection was just a little loose. Alright, that's good. Coming through clear? Alright, excellent. A little far away before. Alright, alright. Alright, no more Andalusian music. I think it's about time. So, I talked about this a little in the Discord. Here's what we're gonna do today, right? We're gonna play Elden Ring. Something I've been wanting to do for a while is I've been wanting to beat Elden Ring with every weapon class. So, we're gonna be a dagger boy, right? Dagger girl, whatever. But what I need from you, chat, is I need a name. Because we're gonna be spending some time with this dagger person. Sugar Ray, Fong, Dagbert. So the idea is that I've been thinking about dagger building, right? I've got to build a little bit Pythagoras. That's kind of fun. I've been thinking. Yeah, I'm going with Pythagoras. That's pretty damn good. Keepsake. I usually do the seed. What are we doing for base template? Where is Pythagoras from? Truth Seeker? I usually do go with Truth Seeker. It's one of the least, like, busted-looking defaults. Fantasy Greece, no. I don't actually know if they have a Fantasy Greece here. Eh, fuck it. Let's go. Let's fucking do it. It's real now. Yay! We have an @Discord command. Or !Discord command. Yay! Yeah, we got a book club. We talk about shit. You can post fun art. We're the Greek statue heads at Raya Lucaria, otherwise it's pretty not Greek. Well, we don't need our daggerlit to be Greek, you know. Also, for some reason, Elden Ring, whenever I start it up first, it takes fucking forever to load. So we're just gonna have a little chat. So, the Nox are the most Greek, I think. They're kind of like their clothes are kind of Chaldean, isn't it though? So why don't we get talking about ancient Greece while this bad boy loads, right? So, the thing about religion in ancient Greece is that there really is no religion. Like, the concept of religion that we have is very much defined by monotheism. That wasn't really... The more you learn about how religion worked in ancient Greece, the less applicable that concept is. Game is a little loud compared to me. Well, I can fix that. Yay! How's that sound now, James? A dagger is a sort of triangle when you think about it. Yeah, that's true. Like, one interesting thing that I came across while doing the reading is that they're really, like, the ancient Greeks did not really have a concept of personal religion. You know, all religion was, like, public. Sorry, I'm locking in. You know, you didn't really have a shrine in your house, you know? You, shit. Can I parry this bitch? Let's give it a try. No? Give me the thrust attack. Nope. Do it. Nope. The gods are bigger than you and not concerned unless directly requested or trolling. Well, by the time that you hit the Socratics, they were... I always thought they did household shrines and stuff like the Romans. No, that was a Roman... I actually did not know this before doing some of the reading and talking to some historians on Tumblr. No, the Romans were actually a bit of an innovator in that sense, that they're the ones who added the fucking the concept of personal religion. Was definitely a Roman innovation. That shit's fascinating to me. Like, if you wanted to participate in religion in ancient Greece, it was in groups, you know. House specific, like Hospitality Zeus and Agatha Daimon, but it was pretty much public worship. Yup. Like, there were publicly owned temples, but they were owned by, like, groups of individuals. Not publicly owned temples. Privately owned temples that weren't mandated by the state, but they were owned by private groups of individuals. Very locational, yes. It wasn't very centralized. That's one of the other things that, if you're trying to get a handle on magic in ancient Greece, you need to get a handle on religion in ancient Greece, and trying to understand that, you very rapidly understand that... Oh, hello. You very rapidly understand that, like, Athenian religion and Athenian literature is heavily overrepresented in that sense. Cult-based as I understand it, but very much not in the way that we use the term cult. It was very much like, there's the temple for the city that you live in, and maybe the island that you live on. Did that include Hestia? From what I understand, Hestia, like, you didn't really have a shrine to Hestia in your house. She was the shrine of... Like, when you all got together to... you know, sacrifice some pork fat at a big banquet, you poured it into the hearth fire that you were all sitting around. You know, she was the goddess of the hearth, but not necessarily the household until you got more into the Roman era. Also, I'm not being lazy when I mainly do witchcraft by attending public ritual at my local shop like once a quarter. I'm just following the ancient Greek model. Yeah, kinda. Although, once you get into the Roman model, that's when you get into interesting shit. What about Plato's idea of a personal daimon? Would that be proto-personal religion? That was more like, from my understanding, like, please understand that I'm not an expert on this, and basically everything I say about this is wrong and up for debate, and my goal here is to foster some discussion, is that the concept of a personal daimon had a little bit more to do with reactions to Pythagorean philosophy mythology, as to like being able to shoot your soul out of your body, and more about being the medium through which you interact with religion, if that makes sense. Romans had personal spirits, genii. Well, okay, a genus loci were kind of spirits, kind of gods, kind of your own thing. Like, it's kind of, in my opinion, intentionally vague as to what exactly a genus loci was. Rituals are a proper good excuse to get together. Yup. Well, and it's also, like, a method of national identity. That's definitely a thing that you saw in the Roman period, was like, you know, they didn't really give a shit if you were Jewish, as long as you were interacting with state rituals, right? Like yeah, have your book, do your stuff. But if you want to be promoted in the army, you gotta, you know, bathe in cow's blood for Mars or whatever. And if you weren't cool with that, then you don't get a spot in the army. It's religion in the Roman period became much more of a what do you call it? Like a signifier of fealty to the state. They didn't really care if you actually believed in it or not, even though a lot of people did. It was more about, like, social cohesion. Yeah, you can be Jewish as long as you're Roman. That's a good way of putting it. And actually, that extends back into the Greek period a little bit. Like, they did not care. Like, okay, you weren't allowed to worship other gods outside of the Greek pantheon, but they did believe that the gods appeared to other cultures in different forms. You know, to an Egyptian, they would appear as something a little more Egyptian. And so they're like, oh, you've got Thoth? Well, we call him Hermes over here, and that's the real shit, but you've just got a different kind of Hermes over there. You know, and thus the concept of syncretism becomes the major way that you interact with other cultures. And this was, make no mistake, a method of, like, social cohesion within empire. It was just different than how the Christians and the Romans did it. It's like, you know, Alexander the Great shows up in your culture, conquers and slaughters everything. They find your temples, but, like, rather than destroy them, they want to fucking, they want to keep those, but just make them Greek temples, you know? The Interpretado Gracia. Yes, the Greek interpretation. Yeah, you got that Mercury that's sometimes a bird or a dog. We ain't got no problem with that. But it is Mercury. And if you don't want to call it Mercury, then we got a problem. Yeah, structure exists. May as well just repurpose it. Exactly. Do it. Nope. Do it. I'm a failure. Fake gamer. Going to the temple of Amun and Siwa to prove that you're also a god? Yup. Alexander the Great shows up. Yup. So, if you've done the reading, not to admonish any of you, but one thing I'm always surprised by is the sheer diversity of religion in the ancient Greek world. That is always fascinating to me. Like, there are so many different words for people that do what we would consider magic, right? And even the word that we're using right now, magic, was significantly more diverse than a lot of people really understood it as. Like, there was a quote where it was like, oh, nope, gotta rebind that. There was a quote where it was like, Pharmakeia, the Magoi, and the Sukagoi are all doing different things. Like, if you turn someone into a pig with a potion, that's not magic. That's Pharmakeia. But if you call up the spirit of your dad and then ask him where he buried some gold, that is that's also not magic. But determining the future by looking into a fire, that's like a different thing. It's not really magic, right? Yeah, nah, I don't practice magic. I'm just a goess. I'm just a whaler. You did make it to the famous snake blasting? Yup, we love snake blasting here. Like that is fascinating to me. And the term like magic that we are using, magia, comes from the magi, or the Greek referring to the magi, which was sort of a blanket term for anyone doing magic that wasn't Greek. You know, if you're coming over from Chaldea or Persia or Egypt, the shit that you were doing was interpreted as being like, it's like, you're just you know, you've got the magi from Persia, or what is now Persia, but it doesn't matter. Like, any foreign person is just is a magi, kind of. You know, it's a very diverse in that sense. None of this is our shit. We don't got a word for that. Yeah, exactly. And so any foreign practice was kind of associated with magia. Although the one weird exception to that is the Greco-Jewish milieu. Like, if you were Jewish in the Roman world, everyone was like, you're doing exorcisms. That was their thing. Ancient Jewish people loved exorcising people. Well, and that makes sense, because it's like everything is shadim to Judaism, right? It's like, if you're sick, you got a demon in you, and you got to exorcise it. And you do that through a combination of like prayer and making a potion and whatnot. There's a great passage in Antiquities of the Jews where Josephus is like talking about what it was like hanging out in like Syria and Judea. Like, you know, you're going to the market to buy your pastries and whatnot for breakfast, and there's like a guy performing an exorcism just like in the market, and he's howling and saying voces magicae, or words of power, and making potions and whatnot, and doing all sorts of shit. And what was it? Oh yeah, you sneeze the demon out. Like, there's a holy man who makes a potion, and then you sneeze your demon out. And that was just like a thing that you watched while you were buying your breakfast. Like, that shit rules. That's awesome. It was interesting to me that the terms for magical practitioners seemed almost hierarchical. The Goists were considered better because they had control over their souls. Yeah. Like, it's important to remember that for the ancient Greek world, the age of heroes was over. You know, the gods don't interact with people. They don't interact with the average people anymore, except for their chosen representatives on Earth, except through the oracles. And so most magical practitioners were regarded with a degree of skepticism and fear. Like, distrust. Like, even back then, it was like, these people are calling themselves, like, shamans or whatever. Like, they're probably bullshit. They're probably not doing something super cool. Like, I was shocked at just how much of the information we have about wizards is, like, polemical. It's from, like, philosophers being like, no, these people are, like, bullshit. Although, Plato says, like, these people are bullshit, but curses are real and they can harm you, and you need to be worried about that. I like the passage from that Egyptian priest getting mad about the fake kind of Egyptian wisdom. Yeah, no, literally, it's like you have like Greek sorcerers talking about how, like, I've learned all of my spells from the ancient and powerful foreign Egyptians. And the actual Egyptian priests were like, this shit isn't Egyptian. What are you talking about, you idiot Hellene? Like, they're all just copying each other's shit and lying about who has the most magic shit. It's awesome. It's never changed. It has literally never changed. Like, exactly the same thing as, like, white people traveling to India and coming back with mystical wisdom. It's never changed. It's always been this way. Unrelated to the conversation going on right now, but a big fan of Kenneth waxing on about needing to be saved and just fading in and out right as you run elsewhere. Yup. Brothoth won't fuck you. No, he will. Keep posting. Keep creating Defixio. Keep creating curse tablets. Throw yourself into more Dionysian trances and syncretize yourself with Ptolemaic Egyptian religion. Thoth is real, he will fuck you. It is possible. Somewhere in the Talmud, it says that Egypt has 9 out of 10 of the world's sorcery. Yup. Hi, Melania. Or Melina.
Very well, let my hand.
I have my mission. No, I loved, like, the sheer diversity of things that people were doing back then. Like, you had the Goes who were, like, a little more trustworthy, partially because they had control of their own souls. But I loved the bit about the Goes being almost like professional mourners. Like, Goes in Koine, classical Greek, means like wailer or crier, because they would show up at your funeral and they would just work them. They would be so sad that they would work themselves into a ritual trance and be able to assist the dead in the passage over in some way. But they had control over it, which was important. And so they were like just under the oracles in terms of like people you could trust to do magic. Kind of imagine them doing a heavy metal death voice to talk to ghosts. I imagine them as like cry typing, although that's not historical, you know? They kind of legitimize the death. That's not a good way of putting it. It's like they kind of ritually commemorate it in a good way. There's that sense of like poetry is able to capture what logic cannot, and I think there's an element of that goes into it, of like this almost exaggerated performative wailing of mourning, this exaggerated professionalized theatrical mourning captures something that the raw feelings cannot. It's almost psychopompic. Yeah, almost psychopompic. And I think that's a key there, because they're not claiming to like be a psychopomp. They're like assisting the psychopompic process in some way, but never making it doctrine. You know, they're never claiming to be official, and I think that goes a long way towards what they were doing. Travel agents? That's a fun way of putting it. Or that's a fun way of putting it, you know, not what they actually were, but a fun way of putting it. Closer to the truth. What's a psychopomp? A psychopomp is like someone who moves souls to the underworld. You know, the Grim Reaper is a psychopomp, but Hermes spiriting your soul down to the underworld and then like dropping you off at the banks of the river Styx to be ferried across. That's also a psychopomp. Hi, Nereus. Give me your knife. I will need it for my build. No? Bitch. So Karen counts? I believe Karen counts, yeah. Give me your knife, bitch. I hope you guys like parries, because this is going to be a pretty parry-heavy run. Stop. Thank you, I know more now. That's the point. That's why we're doing this. We're playing video games and increasing our knowledge. I suck balls at parrying, so this will be fun to see. I remember taking this guy's knife and using it to cheese the Grail fight for 30k runes. Well, we're going to get there in a bit. Actually, speaking of, I should unequip this shit, equip this shit. So for the on-hand, I want to get fucking the Misericord. I also want to grab the parrying dagger just in case. No, I don't want to grab the parrying dagger. I want to head back to the gate front. Didn't realize how common spending years underground was for Greek mystics. They fucking loved caves, dog. I am always shocked by how much ancient Greek mystics fucking loved being in caves. They never did patch out the Grail trick. I don't think they're gonna patch it out. I think it's actually intended. Because if they did patch out the Grail trick, it would make the early game, like, a lot more annoying. Being able to, like, knowing how to skip over the early game and just get an easy 90k souls is, like, one of the best parts about this game, IMO. Get all the cool vapors in caves. Yeah, yeah. Although, I was watching... If you guys have seen that one fucking... What is his name? The YouTuber with the beard who makes the... he makes the videos with the titles like... The Somber Dopeness of Mario Party. Jacob Geller! Yeah, that's the one. I recently rewatched his video on caves because of this reading. Yeah, that was Ray William Johnson, actually. The somber dope... What's up, Forum? Today we're talking about the somber dopeness of caves. No, the whole thing about how, like, if you spend too long in complete darkness, you literally just start hallucinating, and it's not like, oh, your brain is generating things. It's like, your eyes literally start seeing things that your brain receives as visual information. Like, that shit's crazy. And the story about the woman, the researcher who spent, like, a month in a cave and her experience of time, like, compressed 2 times to the point where she's like, why are you pulling me out? I've only been in here for like a week. And they're like, you've been in here for 2 months. I love the chthonic world. I love underground caves. That shit's awesome. Spent 30 hours in a shipping container and went batshit. Cool. It's like, I know it would be objectively bad for my mental health. I know it would be an awful thing to do. I kind of want to spend 30 days in a cave. I just want to see what happens. Like, it would probably do permanent damage to my mental health. But, like, what if it was awesome? What if it was, like, the catharsis you needed? What if it was the missing vitamin to your brain, and actually what you needed to do was spend 30 days in a cave, and it would, like, reorganize your thoughts in a way that made the world make sense again? I think about shit like that all the time. Okay, where are we going? What's our next goal here? We are going to... Lightbending rich guy from Disco Elysium. Kinda. We wanted to buy Perry from Bernal.
Names, but let me ask, are you here? Does your despite?
My faith holds firm.
Now's the time.
It's just called Madness, CT. It's not madness! Shut up! It's a special kind of madness, okay? If you'd done the reading, you'd know that mania is a special religious kind of madness. That's what I want. I don't want something diagnosable to happen to me. I want something religious to happen to me, even though I, like, don't believe in any of that shit. Why are humans so susceptible to the call of caves? I don't know. They just, like, I think it's like an evolutionary biology thing. It's like, yeah, safe in there. Safe from rain. Predators can't get us. CT belief lore? I'm very upfront about being a fucking atheist. I'm like a hardcore anti-theist. I don't have religious beliefs. I do practice magic, though. Becoming a cave hermit for materialist reasons exclusively. Listen, I got enough problems with modern psychology as it is, but they're very logical materialist reasons. I'm not trying to get people to, like, buy supplements off of me or whatever. We're having, like, I have very normal and logical criticisms of modern psychology, but that said, I want to see the cave madness. I want the cave madness to happen to me, okay? It seems like it would fix me. I know in my heart that it would fix me. My Finnish ass went back to the caves because Finns were descended from bears. Badass. True. It is known among the wise. I have to be the most normal person in this cave. I'm gonna get a good grade at being a cave mystic. It will happen to me. I didn't flub that line. My aura remains intact. I don't want to just hang out in a cave. right? I want to have like I want to have like food lowered down to me on like a rope or like that type of shit, you know? My people believed that caves were where ghosts lived. Yup. Well, and not just that. It's like the like ancient Jewish people were just as influenced by the Greco-Roman world as the Greco-Roman world was by like ancient Judea. So, I'm sorry. True, but I meant the Irish. Oh yeah, that's also like also true. I don't know. Caves are just like very religiously significant pretty much across the board. Recession indicator. Yeah, the the Zillennials are talking about being cave mystics. That's how you know the economy's bad. Did you guys get to the belly prophets? That was one of my favorite bits about the reading. I haven't died yet, so we can't find it, but I do want to read the cave sorry. I do want to read the belly prophet section once I die. And given that I almost always get killed by this giant rat going for this talisman, we'll see. Everyone ready your belly prophets. Damn, okay. Belly prophet time. Come on, come on. Give me the Engastrimulthos. I know exactly which page is on. Oh my god, the fucking search in page function isn't working. Hold. Hold. The wisdom is arriving. Hold. Yeah, here it is, okay. Ventriloquist in Gastrimulthos, literally translated as belly prophet. Some people now call this a python. Sophocles uses the word chest prophet, sternomantis, and Plato the philosopher, Eurycles. After a prophet of this sort called Eurycles, Aristophanes says in The Wasps, quote, an imitation of the prophetic method of Eurycles. Philochorus says in the third book of his On Divination that women too are ventriloquists. These called up the souls of the dead. Saul used one of these, who called up the soul of the prophet Samuel. That's the fucking Witch of Endor, the fucking Obe of Endor, considered a belly prophet by the sages of old. Now, this term, belly prophet, comes from the idea that, like, you are haunted by a spirit, possessed by a spirit that lives in your tummy, and then speaks through you, right? And that's where the prophecies come from. You're a subcategory of the mantes, or the seers. Sophocles' undated use of the term sternomantis may have preceded Aristophanes' mention of the Eurycles. It is clear that the Philochorus spoke of women ventriloquists. It is less clear that he also said they called up the souls of the dead. The notion that they did may have been an extrapolation from the application of the Engastrimulthos to the Witch of Endor in the Septuagint, and derived Greek accounts. Yup. It's fucking awesome. I love that shit. The Witch of Endor from Star Wars. That is actually where Endor got its name. It's from the biblical character. Eurycles? Many such cases. Wait, nope. Don't do this yet. I need a fucking chicken foot. I need to do a chicken foot. Hey, where'd my spirit go? Guy with a suspiciously spirit-shaped tummy. We out of spirits. Ahmed the Dead Terrorist is the only real ghost. Man, I haven't thought about Jeff Dunham in forever. Where was the reading stuff posted? Tumblr, Blue Sky, somewhere else? It was posted in the Discord. You can use the command !Discord to get a link. That's where we've posted all the readings and whatnot. Come, join us. It is fairly bare bones at the moment. Can I parry this guy? No, I believe that the... Ow. Wait, maybe I can. Locking in. Wisdom will return once I've been victorious. Come on. Channel for my cat only, actually. No one else is allowed. Whee! Why aren't you main-handing Breduvia for the busted-ass weapon art? Because I want to main-hand, I want to put parry on the dagger so that I can have an offhand parry. Does she have any wisdoms to share with us on this fine Friday afternoon? Well, she's asleep in her little circle bed. Very wise. Did you guys find any parts of the reading particularly interesting? I know I've been talking for a bit. Let's open up the floor a little bit. Oh, hello, sir. I didn't know you guys would follow me. It's a bit about Orpheus maybe successfully resurrecting Eurydice in an earlier myth. There's a lot of different versions of the Orpheus myth, right? Like, even the dismemberment isn't common in every version of the myth. I always found that interesting. Love the part about Faro Notisibo fascinating. Nectanabo. A lot of words that I've never said out loud. Dawning understanding that the Sword Saint stuff from Emerald Seas is just what it's like to be good at a Souls-alike. Maybe. Well, it's like Sword Saint is an actual term. Dismemberment. Yeah, in most of the Orphic myths, when he comes back, like he's playing his awesome song so sadly because he misses Eurydice, right? And it drives a group of like Maenadic priests to madness, and they like tear him apart. You know, they rip him up. So on one hand, I'm kind of disillusioned to discover that the history of the occult and the study of magic is in fact a fairly almost innocuous religious journey to rigorously understand the divine and not an attempt to invoke dark powers and twist the fabric of reality. On the other hand, it turns out the stuff you wind up doing anyway is so hilarious that it becomes its own wackadoo field of interest. I, like, the more I learn about the occult, like, the more I like it. Like, I love understanding how weirdos from history saw the world and like what they were trying to do. Like, I love that like, it's a real historical fact that there were, like, groups of women in ancient Greece that would just, like, work themselves into violent ritual trances. That shit's fucking awesome. I would not know about that if I didn't get into the occult. And it's one thing to understand that from, like, a religious history perspective, but understanding that that was a group of real people and why they were doing that and what they were trying to do is super fucking cool. Like, that makes me love the world more. Women do that today too. Not in the same way, right? They didn't have like they weren't like recognized by the state, you know? Like imagine if the people who ran the Library of Congress were also like priestesses of Hestia and they had to be virgins. And if you saw their secret rites, they got to like tear your eyes out. That shit's awesome. Those ladies that killed Orpheus in the first known white boy with guitar incident. Yup. White boy with lyre devoured by women. Can we have that, please? Yup. I don't know. I feel like the more you understand about the actual history of the occult, the more interesting it becomes. Like, I was talking to a colleague about this the other day, who's a psychologist, right? Like, I think tarot only works if you know that magic isn't real. Does that make sense? Like, if you think that magic is real, if you think that, like, using a deck of tarot cards is like actually channeling some secret kind of energy, or that there's like ancient ghosts speaking through it, you're not going to interpret the cards correctly. Like that's gonna have an effect on how you interpret the cards, but they were designed to be interpreted in a very specific, like, interesting way. They are built for a purpose. And if you know what that purpose is in like a logical and anti-theistic way, that makes you better at interpreting tarot cards, right? Does that make sense? The purpose is toys. Well, no, the purpose is, like, art. The purpose is, like, praxis. It's meditative. It's cultural. It's interesting. It is toys, but it's other things, too. Try to take it too seriously, it all falls apart. Yup. But you have to take it not seriously in just the right. Why we hurt Bush? My friend, this is not Bush. This is Dragon. Tarot's a reflection tool. It's a lot of things. It's a divination tool, but you have to understand that, like, what divination means is interesting. It turns out that toys, too, are culture. Yup. Like, at the same time, though, like, ghosts are fucking cool, and I love learning about ghosts. It can also be a social ritual, that's true, although the term social there is doing a lot of work. Like, what exactly you mean by social has a lot of very interesting anthropological interpretations. It's not real, but cynicism is also poison balance. I think, like, controlled cynicism, like, is important. If you use hacks to fire the event that makes the dragon stand up, the animation playing crashes the game. Cool. I just don't think ghosts are talking to us through cards. Yup. Because ghosts aren't real, but the cards are real. You can play with the cards, and that's real. Okay, I want this, but I also want... What is it? 18 Arcane? Or 18 Faith, because I want to be able to use the Black Knife at some point. What's the stat requirement of the Black Knife real quick? Hang on, looking this up. $18. Yep. Okay. What's that Tumblr post that's like ghosts are literally alive? Yay! Okay. What is the most obscure type of divination? It's probably Chinese. I think if you lined up all of the magic that's ever been invented, like, most of it would be methods of Chinese divination. I don't want to make a cursed tablet, just in case that shit is effacious. Hi, Plato. Welcome to the chat. Oracle Bones! Yup. Ashes of War. I'm gonna do this. Wanna add parry to it. Yup, okay. Sorry for, like, screaming into the mic, by the way. One thing I really enjoyed was the Sukakoi, the evocators, who, like, they weren't really controlling their souls, but their job was basically talking to ghosts. I love how every, like, if your small town has a fucking ghost problem or whatever, you gotta get your hands on a Sukagoi who, like, shows up to your house and, like, finds where the ghost is and then sacrifices specifically a black ram, right? You gotta sacrifice a black ram, and then that allows the Sukagoi to, like, converse with the ghost and then, like, put it to rest in the correct way. That shit was super interesting to me. I gotta call me one of those. Yup. Also, I was fascinated by... There were, like, the 4 distinct types of ghosts that they recognized. By the way, watching your stream brought me to discuss wizardry and occultism with my stepmom. Cool! Yeah, no, I think there should be more interest in this shit as, like, a historical topic. Learning about it is really fascinating. It was really interesting to how focused on magical practices on ghosts were. Well, and it's like, ghosts are not really what they were. Like, they were ghosts, but they were also other stuff. Like, the ancient Greek concept of a daimon is like, or daimones, which is the plural, I believe, was like, they're ghosts, but also kind of gods, but also kind of, like, local spirits. Like, it was like a slightly broader term for a classification of spirit. Like, that goes back to the pre-Socratic philosophers. Like, one of the first things that Thales said is, all things are full of gods. Okay, we got this. What are we doing over here? Do we need the medallion right now? Let's go fight Margit. Remember in 27 where people trying to worship Keck and do meme magic? Was there anything interesting about that? Nah, it's just like... It's that... okay, in my opinion, I think it was that kind of 4chan thing, or 4chan type thing, where people are like, wouldn't it be epic to do this as, like, a joke? And then, as the joke goes on, it becomes, like, more serious and shit. Like, kind of what happened with the whole meme stock movement of... Dude, wouldn't it be funny if we, like, invested in a public, embarrassingly bad stock, and then it became like a weird apocalyptic investment cult? I think it was that type of thing, where a very small amount of people started doing it, like, seriously, and it deranged them. Its ghost is a catch-all locus for a lot of other things outside their control. Yeah, but also in, like, a... Like, okay, the way I've always described it is, like, imagine... Okay, you guys ever worked at a store that had, like, an old building, and it was full of problems, and it was like a running joke among your coworkers that, oh, the building is haunted, or whatever. Like, and maybe someone died in the building, and you kind of all make up a story about that, and so the ghost, quote-unquote, becomes, like... The ghost, quote-unquote, becomes, like, someone's spirit, but also the spirit of the building itself, but also kind of a god. Like, that weird crossover between those three things is, in my opinion, how the Greeks... Like, that's kind of what they mean when you say a daimon. Do it again. Bitch. Hit me. Do it again. Bitch. Hit me. Not like that. Nope, too early. Too early. Too early. Ah, I'm so used to parrying his other form. Just kill me. Come on, do it.
Put these foolish ambitions to rest.
Should have waited to say my joke until CT wasn't locked in. Yup, sorry. Stop being funny. I'm mastering the blade. Trying to talk me out of a dagger run? Nothing. Nothing will prevent me from the dagger run. So much worse of an early game wall than Udex Gundyr. No, he's not. No, he's intentionally harder so that you don't like rush the first dungeon. He's like, because if you're coming at this game from like a Dark Souls 3 perspective, you're like, oh, just seek out like the main boss and then fight that. It's like, no, he's intentionally an early game wall so that you go explore. Nope. Hate how much he resists miracles, especially. Yeah, in the base game, there's like basically everything is resistant to holy for some reason. Probably for lore reasons. He's more difficult. Yeah. But I mean, Udex Gundyr is a tutorial boss. Damn it. Ah. There we go. We should get the fucking... we should get the fucking dagger talisman. The one that heals you. That'll be really good at this point in the game.
Thou art of passing skill. Warrior love must truly bind thy
Guys, we're of passing skill. Chat. Chat, we're of passing skill. Ugh. Let's see, how long have we been live? All right, let's take a quick break. Go get yourself a drink, go to the bathroom, do all that shit. Welcome back. Okay. The untimely dead and the dead by violence. Ghosts that were wont to manifest themselves, and ghosts that were relatively active and therefore convenient for magical exploitation, tended to belong to one of the following, often overlapping categories of the, quote, restless dead. It is unclear at what point this, in any case shifting, categorization was developed, although it appears to be latent already in Homer. The auroi, those dead before their time, those cheated of their full stint in life, bitterly stayed back to haunt the land of the living, which they had been deprived. In theory, anyone who died of anything other than natural causes in old age could generate a ghost restless qua auros, although a class auroi tended to be conceptualized primarily as the ghosts of children or babies. The bianathanatoi, those dead, or biothanatoi, there you go. Those dead by violence. These included the battle dead and executed criminals, although murder victims and suicides provided the bitterest ghosts of this class. The agamoi. Those dead before marriage. Both female and male ghosts could be assigned this category, although the female ones were regarded as particularly bitter insofar as marriage and the motherhood conquest upon it were a woman's defining rights in antiquity. The ataphoi. Those deprived of burial. Whether the circumstances of death, a ghost could not achieve rest without the due funeral rites. These were importantly distinct from the mere insertion of the corpse into a hole in the ground, and indeed, the concealment of a dead body in precisely this way is often presented as the chief obstacle to the peace of the soul. And honestly, what I found interesting about all that, like, that's still how we treat ghosts in fucking, like, it now. Like, the fucking Ghostbusters had lore like that. That shit's crazy. I'm always amazed by the amount of continuity between things in history all the way up to now, especially in, like, ancient Greek shit. Like, that's still how we see ghosts. That's fucking crazy. It's wild that, like, ghost hunting shows don't use that as, like, yeah, the ancient Greeks recognized these many types of ghosts. Oh, hey, I would love to hear your thoughts on opinions on Dan Aykroyd. He's cool. Like, I don't think he's, like, I mean, he's not, like, an authority on shit, but, like, Ghostbusters is cool. I actually played the Ghostbusters game, and I was surprised by the amount of, like, real occultism in it is pretty cool. I liked that. I wish that modern Ghostbusters shit was more in tune with that. I love how much of that was. Oh, right. Yeah, you actually got... you guys actually want to see the game? Whatever. You're here for me talking anyway. I'm sure you can just look up Elden Ring on the internet. Just open up a video of someone playing Elden Ring in another tab and listen to me talk. If I recall correctly, Dan Aykroyd wrote of a lot of it, and he's into some weird shit. Yeah, no, he's like super into ghosts and ancient aliens and shit. So whenever he writes stuff, it's all wonky. I had to crank up the bitrate down to stop it from buffering. Wait, can you see the game now? Oh, so that's how we get you to stop the dagger build. Just watch someone else and pretend it's you. Yup. I'm good at these games, but I'm not great at these games. You know, I'm no, like, Lobos Jr. or whatever. He's also got the Crystal Skull vodka, which I've tried. It's not very good. This is my wizard podcast. The Elden Ring is just like Subway servers. Exactly. I think better when I have something to do with my hands. Like, I'm a very, very heavily auditory learner, so one of the ways that I do research is I'll put on, like, recorded lectures on religious history or something, and then I'll, like, play Elden Ring for the 11 millionth time. Like, I can absorb information so much faster that way. It feels like cheating. It feels like I'm not doing any work, but then, like, by the time... Like, I'll do that for, like, 8 straight hours. I'll do that for, like, 8 straight hours, and then I'll, like, talk to one of my friends that's, like, you know, going for their PhD in theology, and we go like toe to toe in the conversation. That's really validating. Used to knit in class. I would grind for shinies on a Game Boy SP playing Pokemon Fire Red. And my teachers fucking hated that, even though it was really effective and it worked a lot. Crystal Skull is like a vodka whiskey drinkers would like. I don't like it, but the price is unreasonable. I just like don't care about expensive alcohol most of the time. Like I don't know. I've kind of like stopped drinking. I listened to the VOD at 3 times speed. What sources do you like for lectures? It's kind of like it goes in stages, you know. Like you start off with the fucking Wikipedia article, and then I track down like academic sources. Shit like the things that are linked in the Discord. If you want to check out the readings that we've collected, you can use the command !Discord to go check out our compiled sources. And if you want to see all my actual academic writing, you can check out my Patreon, which should be linked in the crawl at the bottom of the screen. And hey, listen to me. I'm grabbing your shoulders right now. I'm only able to do this because you guys support me on Patreon. I know it's kind of a scary time to be supporting random people on the internet. Like, not much money to go around, so no obligation. But I figured it was the time to, like, you know, maybe do something a little more. Try to entertain some folks. And I'm only able to do this because you guys fucking pay my bills by, like, reading my research and enjoying the things that I post online. So, thank you. Thanks in advance. Again, no obligation. But the thing that we're discussing today is the Daniel Ogden sourcebook on magic, witchcraft, and ghosts in the Greco-Roman world. An excellent thing to read. Patreon is blocked in your country? What? That fucking sucks. Well, hey, like, again, no obligation. I think next month I want to try and push for affiliate. Push for affiliate on Twitch. I know for a fact that we can get there. I'm more than capable of hitting that. And that way we can get some fun emotes and whatnot. I think that'll be fun. I think it's sanctions or some shit. Whatever. Yeah, you're actually getting around the sanctions. You guys got any questions? That's always a good thing to get the wheels turning. Like, one of the best ways that I've found to learn is to just, like, find normies and who know nothing about any of this shit, and then see what questions they have. Because it's always, like, uninformed normies always have the most interesting questions that you would never that you would never consider if you were just approaching this as, like, an academic. I think one of the first ones I always get is like, is magic real? If you could pick one religious text to be surprised canonized by the next pope, which would it be? Oh man, like, that's a tough one. Related to a specific topic or just like occult things in general? I'd like to focus on occult things, but if you have a question that's interesting enough and it's off topic, yeah, why not? Just shoot. I unfortunately didn't have much time to do, like, readings this week because I got sick. On that note, who's your pick for Pope? I don't fucking care, dude. I don't give a shit. I have no emotional investment in the Catholic Church. Related to a specific topic? Just, like, aim as close as you can to the topic of the stream. I'm not going to get on your ass about it. Kind of category of ghosts that you know about so far. The thing that always interested me was, like, the range of things that were considered spirits. Like, foreign gods were also considered diamonds often. That shit's interesting to me.
Have a safe journey.
So Easter myth implies that Jesus destroyed hell and let the sinners out, right? It can be interpreted that way, yes. Hard to say definitively. Like, I don't actually get to decide. Catholic canon gets to decide that. You sometimes talk about how ancient people viewed topics you talk about. What are the tip-offs to ancient writing that tell you they saw this as, like, metaphorical? They really truly thought this is how things worked? That is a very difficult thing to determine academically, especially as somebody who's, like, not an expert. Like, I rely on the testimony of experts, like, talking about their subjects and fields with a degree of a level and specificity of analysis that is, like, beyond me. I can't read classical Greek very well, so I just have to go on what experts are saying. And what is interesting to me is that it depends based geographically and on writer and on the culture itself. Like, generally speaking, ancient Greek people saw their mythology as real. They saw it as history. They saw it as important. They saw people, they saw the Odyssey as, like, a part of their history. But, like, if you wanted to write something, like, okay. If you invoked the gods or the muses at the beginning of what you're writing, that meant you were trying to write history, like history mythology, right? But if you weren't writing history, like Euripides, and you didn't invoke the muses or the gods at the beginning of things, it was understood as historical fiction, right? Like, Euripides is not considered, like, canon mythology. There was a mythological canon, if not a religious canon, and which was considered to be blended with real history. It's interesting. Like, it's very specific to the culture at hand. Coming from a background in architecture, we heard some references about genus loci as, like, spirits of a place that gave it unique character. Is that accurate to the mythology? Yes. Canon quote, yeah. Like, in a very different sense of that word than what, like, monotheism means by canon. Just so I'm clear, so diamonds are spirits are lesser than big gods, yeah? What would be the difference between ancient people? They respect them but don't worship them? It's very vague. Like, don't expect a clear answer there, right? I think the sort of lexical vagueness, as in, like, I think there was some intentional vagueness to the term. Because, like, ancient Greek literature occasionally refers to, like, it's like, oh, there's, like, people in Crete that worship a diamond. Or not Crete, but, like, some other, like, Hellenic island, like, worships a diamond. So they're, like, kind of gods, kind of genus loci, kind of the spirits of dead people. And depending on where and when and who you are, the meaning of the term can shift. Why does astrology never go out of fashion? It's been popular for thousands of years. Well, the night sky is cool. They're always there. Like, it's fucking cool. Hearing discourse about the latest pop musicals has ruined me. I don't care. Caves are weird. Star is cool as fuck. This is known. This is eternal. Yup. How do you sack a temple with no fear of divine retribution? It's not your guy's temple, right? Your god's better. Your god will protect you. Simple as. Here, let's find a passage to read. Let's go to curses. Binding curses are primarily known from their use in curse tablets, in Greek katadismoi, in Latin disfictiones. Their properties may be summarized as follows. Some 1600, the majority in Greek, survive from all periods of antiquity from 500 BC onwards. They are found throughout the Greco-Roman world, from Egypt to Britain. They seek often explicitly to bind or restrain their victims. The desired restraint or confusion of the victim is often reflected in or induced by the use of reversed, twisted, or jumbled forms of writing, conventions, or imagery. They are often inscribed on lead, which is then rolled or folded and nailed in addition to symbolic acts of twisting and restraint. Their imagery and application they have much in common with voodoo dolls, which are already found in the Archaic period. Their curses are to be enacted by ghosts and or underworld powers. To this end, they are typically deposited in graves and, quote, underground bodies of water, such as springs or wells, or in chthonic sanctuaries. They can also be deposited in the victim's home or workplace. I like that they're typically made of lead and then put in groundwater. That's awesome. That's really cool. The majority of curses, where their subject can be discerned, fall into one of the following categories: legal, choral, or athletic competition, trade, love and sex, and prayers for justice. The curses are often made between rivals in a, quote, competitive context, as in Pharaone has observed. The earlier tablets tend to be concise. The later ones are usually much more prolix and enhanced with various paraphernalia, vocis magicae, vowel patterns, palindromes, appeals to protracted lists of syncretized gods or demons, and images. Nice use of the word prolix. Lead is good for you. Improves the complexion. Yup. How's your study of sub-Saharan African traditions? Anything particularly interesting south of Nubia? I have wanted to learn more. Like, I know a little bit of, like, Malian mythology and, like, pre-colonial, like, sub-Central African shit. Like, the parts of the world that became the Abbasid Caliphate. Like, I know a little bit about that, but not enough for me to be, like, comfortable talking about it on stream, you know? Like, I wouldn't consider myself particularly knowledgeable. It's super fucking interesting, though. Like, all the practices that became the African diasporic religions is fucking fascinating. Would you want to be a ghost? I don't know. I don't really know what being a ghost would be like, so I can't really say either way. I like how often in North African cultures there were, like, you know, they'd get taken over by an Islamic empire, and then there'd be guys who were like, yeah, I'm Islamic, but I also do other shit too, like, which is explicitly forbidden. So yeah, who cares if I'm, like, reading chicken bones? I read the Quran. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Those are my favorite, like, types of cultural moments, when you have, like, a broader monotheistic culture that, like, kind of half converts another culture. That type of shit happens a lot in Latin America as well. Greek ghosts sound miserable. They all seem pretty mad to be up there. They're never... Well, it's like... Being a ghost in ancient Greece seems like it required a lot of, like, something bad had to happen, right? If you were happy with being a ghost, it's because there's, like, you'd be an outlier. They're very rarely happy to be around. I had seen in the Mummy where a guy is just cycling through prayers. That's how religion, like, worked in the ancient Mediterranean until, like, the 4th century. Like, until the Roman Empire was, like, officially Christian, that's, like, kinda how most people understood religion. So, yeah, it's why you know, we were talking about curse tablets. It's why a lot of them, when you read them, are like, I invoke Jesus and Zeus and Hashem and Thoth and the spirit of my dad, and they're all gonna put a frickin' awesome curse on you so that you lose your stupid chariot race. Like, that's a lot of them. Or they're for crops, right? It's, I invoke every god that my wheat is gonna be dope this year. And my uncle that works at Nintendo, and my dad who drives monster trucks, and every girl at school is my girlfriend. Right, like they did not have a concept of like you've only gotta, like they would they would easily evoke like monotheistic gods that would theoretically be very mad if you invoke them with other gods, but they didn't give a shit. El plus Ratio plus Christ plus Hashem plus Thoth plus Hermes. Yeah, exactly. Chanting prayers like a fighting game combo. Yeah, no, literally. All right, locking in. Yay! From what I know about, like, Iphis and Ianthe, they were getting help from both Greek and Egyptian gods. Like, yeah. Well, someone in chat said, like, there's two gods, the god I have with your mom and the god I have with your dad. But, like, you gotta remember that the ancient Hellenic and Roman worlds were extremely, like, culturally diverse. Like, that's kind of true in the sense that, like, your dad is like a Roman Hebrew, and your mom is like a Ptolemaic, like Hellenic Egypt. Fucking hell, a Ptolemaic Egyptian Hellene. So you probably did have like a god from your mom and a god from your dad, and maybe your grandpa was like a whole different thing entirely, and you were hanging out with Gallic barbarians and shit. Like, it was a very diverse place to be. Anyone else getting Elden Ring vibes? See, okay. By the way, Jeb Bush Gaming 2022. Excellent name. Jeb! No, fucking, what do you call it? Like, eventually, as we progress through history, we're gonna get to Pico della Mirandola and Marcio Ficino, and we're probably still gonna be playing Elden Ring at that point, and oh boy, will that spark some interesting conversation. Because this game is, like, directly based on, like, Pico and Ficino. Like, the theology of Elden Ring is Neoplatonist. I don't get any Elden Ring vibes. Maybe something's wrong with you. Yeah, you're fucked up. You're weird. We all noticed. You said something weird at the party. Okay, I have a question. What do you mean Pythagoras was a dog in a past life? I don't get the reference. There's a section from... There's like a quote about Pythagoras where he's like walking along the street and he sees someone beating a dog, and he goes over and he says, like, "Stop beating that dog. That was my best friend in a previous life. I remember him. I see him and I remember his soul. His beautiful soul is in that dog you're beating. Stop it." Otherkin. How are you going to describe Pico without words you can't say on Twitch, though? What? It's going to be fine. It's not going to be a problem. What is Neoplatonist banned on Twitch? It's fine. He was, like, racist a little bit. It's fine. Easy to talk about him. Okay, what's the plan here? What's the plan here? going through in my head the list of, like, sub-trees that we got. Yes, okay. Let's give Margit another try. Wait, we need the fucking... Need the summoning bell. New Augustine Twitch TOS just dropped. Can't talk about the occult anymore.
This way, Tarnish.
Upgrade materials you set for now. I wanted to wing it a little bit. Because, okay, I want the misericord, right?
I was instructed.
I want to use that as my main.
Tis a bell summon the spirit now. It is the
Thank you, Ronnie. What are we doing here? No, no, come on. Jealous of Ronnie's hat.
Tarnished. I doubt we shall again meet. But all the same,
Can we get more? Can we get into that more? I only know Pythagoras is a math guy. I haven't done the reading. So Pythagoras was before Plato and Aristotle's time, right? The Pythagoreans were, in a sense, a math cult. That is, the way that they are described in like a pop history kind of way, and it's kind of true. It's not really true. They were like religious in a way that we don't really have. But there's a lot of, like, you gotta understand that, like, Pythagoras... Oh, wait, hang on. Locking in. Bitch.
Thou art of passing skill. Warrior blood must
God damn it. Bitch. Bitch. Get his ass, Aurelia. Yeah, okay. Get his ass, Aurelia. Let's go, girl.
I shall remember thee, tarnished, smoldering.
YouTube told me Pythagoras ordered a hit on a guy for discover the square root of -1 as a concept. That is a legend told about Pythagoras, yes, that the Pythagoreans were so mad at a guy, like, trying to invent square roots that they, like, put out a hit on him. So yeah, Pythagoras ran what was effectively a math cult, but he was also a receptacle for legends. Like, people talked about him because they said that he had a golden thigh, and that he could do magic by projecting his soul out of his body, and he could use that to teleport, and be in two places at once.
Over here, would you?
Okay, okay. We are going for the Misericord. And then once we have that, we'll be off to the races. If I had a magic golden thigh, I would use it to make you sick. He could use it to make you sick, theoretically. Or, no, the thigh was evidence that he was beloved by the gods, right? It's like, check this out. My thigh is golden. And that's why God loves me. That's another thing. You gotta remember that in the ancient Greek world, beauty was truth. Like, if you were hot, the things that you said were literally considered more true. There was an instance of a woman being, like, on trial for a crime, and the court was like, what have you to say in your defense? And she, like, showed her awesome tits, and the court was like, well, I can't really argue with that. Like, clearly, the gods made her beautiful because they favor her. History is cool. Like, I love history. Greek judges could text Avery out in court. Look at those bazongas! Innocent! How much historical wizardry is unchecked autism? Less than you'd think, actually. I think a lot of... Okay. I think a lot of historical wizards were autistic, but not all of them. And it's not, like, the primary driving factor of occult history. Oi, bazongoy! Yo, nice classical Greek grammar joke. Awesome. I'm glad that this type of person is in my chat. It's objectively like a fucking college teacher-ass joke, but it's exactly the type of stupid humor that I like. Ton bazongon. Hit me. Don't... Not with the shield. Bitch. Fun Elden Ring mechanic fact. Daggers are, Daggers proc the, Dagger Talisman twice. So it heals you twice as much as any other weapon class. Except for Colossal weapons, which also proc it twice. Are you winning? Also, is the philosophy going well, or are you being punished for not having enough awesome tits? It's going pretty well. What do you guys think, chat? We having fun? Having a nice, relaxing Friday? I'm having fun. Yay! I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. It's always fun doing these streams. Moving pretty fast. Think it's going good. Yup. Not to out myself as a fake gamer, but I was actually practicing before this. Because I haven't played Elden Ring in a while, but I've always wanted to do something like this, so I've started another file just to, like, practice with the mechanics. How far are we into this run? Is this a new file? This is a new file. My goal is to at least beat Millennia. What's the goal of this run? Daggers only. I want to beat the game with every weapon class. We might do DLC shit, might not. I don't know. I appreciate your timing too, very time zone friendly. Yeah, no, it's a benefit of this job. Like I have extraordinary freedom of my schedule, so I'm able to like get into a time zone that not many people are often able to get in on. Daggers only Millennia run's going to be a challenge. I think it's actually going to be less of a challenge than you might imagine, because she's very parryable, and daggers are good at parrying. Alright, almost at the misericord. Come on. Nope. I think magma worms might be the most painful to fight with daggers. I actually don't think I'm going to fight a single misericord in this run. You mean good at parrying? Is the timing inherently kinder? No, it's like her telegraphs for her parryable attacks are... I need to explore a little more of this. Yeah. No, 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 no! Shit. Like, not every attack by every boss is going to be parryable, especially the demigod bosses. Like, Morgott Omen King, all of his summoned weapons are unparryable. You can only parry the Primal Glintstone Blade attacks. And even then, not all of them are parryable. His, like, standing sword combos are very parryable, though. And they often come in strings of 3, so if you know the parry timings for all 3 possible combos, you can get a riposte off of him every single time he attacks. This time slot is literally perfect because it's right when I get out of class for the day, clocking out of the Japanese, clocking into Esoteric Gaming 101. Yay! I like that. That's fun. But in what mechanical sense are daggers better at parrying? Actually, you have access to the parrying dagger, which has a unique, better parrying animation than a lot of other weapons. Ah, shit. Get out of here. Fuck this. Whatever. Yeah, there were a couple items in this game that give you inherently better parry frames, them being the buckler and the parrying dagger. Although they have slightly different parrying timings. Like the parrying dagger fires up faster and lasts a little longer. But it also has longer cooldown. Or like lag frames. Lania is rough to parry, especially that one whirlwind attack in her first phase. It is possible, but it's hard as hell. Short range. I usually just run away from Waterfowl Dance. That'll be an interesting one to test out. Might be there for a while, but every time I die, you guys get to be a little wiser. You get to learn some Esoterica. Alright, excuse me, Grafted Scion. You gotta roll into Waterfowl. I'm still not entirely sure how to dodge Waterfowl. I'm sure we'll get there eventually. I love Grafted Scion as a concept because of the tree imagery. Yeah, it's fucking cool. There's the Iron Wet Blade. There's the Misericord. Alright. Now we're going to be crit maxing. I also do like that crafting is kind of like, in universe, considered to be the baby's way of cultivating runes or whatever. It's like, you can't just sew better things onto you. fact that Stormvale is the first dungeon is such a shame because it's so cool. Nah, you put your best foot forward. I think it's like one of the best like dungeons in the game, and you definitely want to put that one first. Pythagoras being a dog in his past life feels like it makes a lot more sense. Yup. Right, I need you to kill me. Well, the Hornsent weren't doing it to torture people. They were doing it to cultivate spiritual power, right? Like, when the Hornsent were putting people in jars and shit, they were doing it to, like, make artificial, like, batteries of spiritual energy and shit. Just kill me. My theory is it was torture. I think the fact that grafting for the Hornsent was torture was just like a happy accident because it meant that they could like instill fear and submission into a political underclass. The whole saint making process was cover. I think it's both actually. Like straight up, I think it's both. Okay, what are we doing? We're going to the Table of Lost Grace, and we're putting Parry on the Misericord. Hi, Gideon.
Counting very well. It is said. Well, I took it no matter to lay out your own.
Let's keep standard scaling for now. I will eventually want to put cold on that. Here, let's read some Esoterica. The advocate Curio supposedly had his tongue bound by Cicero's client. When I had rounded off the case for the defense on behalf of Cotta's Titania, in a very important private suit, he, Curio, was speaking against me on behalf of Severus Navarius. All of a sudden, he forgot his entire case and said that this had been caused by Titania's spells/poisons, or venefica, and incantations. Pretty cool. So, yeah, even in the fucking Roman world, it was like, you gotta watch out for curses, because they were real, and they could happen to you. It's interesting to me that reincarnation beliefs pop up in people with religions that have the afterlife as a tangible place, like Pythagoras being a dog in another life, or like the non-zero amount of Christians I've heard say something implying a previous life or dreams or memories. Yup! Like, theories of death are one of the first things to get syncretized. Okay, what are we doing here? We are going down to Limgrave Tunnel, maybe? I don't know. I don't think you can parry the big grafted asshole. The DLC recontextualizes so much stuff in the base game as derivative parody theft from the Hornsent. It is neat. Yup. I'm sure you get bored of heaven. I don't think you do. I don't think it's, like, possible to get bored of heaven. It's just, like, being in constant, eternal contact with God. I don't think that really gets old. Yeah, they're used to feed the Erd tree. Exactly. That's why there's so many big fucking pots around the minor Erd trees. God gets overwhelmed by the constant contact and yeets people with rebirth so he has less to deal with. applying reincarnation to modern Christianity kind of inherently ends you up at Swedenborgianism. I don't think time passes in heaven. Yeah, heaven's eternal. It has no time. It's not that time doesn't pass, it's just that there is no time. You're kind of stuck back into God a little bit.
Your only mistake. Well,
Hi, Nefeli Lou.
I'm here by how utter this graft is tainted them.
There's a bit in Golden Bough, Big Grain of Salt, etc., where he mentions that at least some Greek poesis they had public curses. In one of these cases he cites is import-export controls. Somewhere they cursed everyone who exported anything other than olive oil. I would want, like, knowing Golden Bough and Fraser and whatnot, I would want to see the citation, but that sounds like very possible. It's going to be the next tariffs. Yeah, that's going to be the next thing for conservatives, is they're all going to get together and, like, make a big leaden curse tablet and put it on China. We are evoking the chthonic deities. I'm an ignoramus, but wasn't it because of, like, destined death not existing anymore, so the pots are their way of facilitating a sort of pseudo-death? I don't... No, because that... America did not remove destined death from the Elden Ring until, like, the Golden Order was fully established. They'd 100% use American stainless steel, the most chthonic American dysphyxio material. All right. Hey, chat, you guys want to bear witness? You guys mind if I bear witness for a second? Oh, you're right. I think I did need to talk to her again. That's fine. Get his ass, Aurelia. We are not doing very much damage. You probably gotta upgrade these bitches. I love this cutscene. My stump.
Truest of dragons. Lend me thy strength.
Probably my favorite voice performance in game. What about the Serpent King and his family? In what context? Both old guys screaming about dragons? Oh, yeah, fucking... Now we will devour the gods together! Also dope. Do we think that... Do we think that the turtle is actually the Pope? I think... Together! Yeah, it fucking rules. I don't think Miriel is, like, the Pope. I think... Okay. Because the Golden Order is, like, both a system of law and, like, a god cult. With Marika Radigan at the top. Like, Marika Radigan is the Pope. But I think Mirabelle is, like, the Bishop of Rome or something. Or like, the Patriarch of the Eastern Orthodox Church, in that they're kind of like the first among equals and in charge of actually administering, like rituals within the broader context of the church. Like, if people get married, you don't, like, Marika Radigan isn't the person marrying you. That's Mirabelle. Like the Pope dying. No. Yeah, George R. R. Martin does famously like turtles. All right, let's head to Limgrave Tunnels to get some upgrade items. He doesn't. Yeah, he also doesn't believe in heresy. Well, it's less like, okay, if you are actually a very topical thing. If you are the Pope of what is effectively an imperial religion, like an imperial legalistic religion, like, you can't fucking... Like, you cannot tolerate fundamentalism. Like, the whole point of the Golden Order is, like, yeah, Marika Radigan's at the top, but there's a lot of, like, things that have been syncretized into the Golden Order. You need at least one person really high up in that religious, like, chain of authority who's, like, doesn't have a problem with that, you know? You need somebody who's really good at syncretism. These guys are such a pain to parry. Come on. Ah, goddammit. Alright, whatever. The only thing 777 is good for? Hey! 777's the number one, right? That's the numerology one? What is your parry timing? What is your parry timing? Nope. Okay, whatever. Marika's extremely not biased. Well, Marika's extremely interested in Empire. It's less that she, like, I think Marika is biased. She just wants, she's like the Roman. She just wants, like, fealty. Are these guys just unparryable? No, I've done it before. I'm just bad at video games. You're being sarcastic about that? And I was using it as an opportunity to talk about a fucking thing. It's fine. Not mad at you. I went to Mad at You Island and there was nobody there. Fealty heads when a true oath swearer walks in. Yup, +2. But then you were there. I was cleansing it with purifying fire. Guys, I was purging it. Stop. I went to Mad at You Island so I could cleanse it of all life, okay? Yeah, I went to Mad at You Island and it was a barren wasteland devoid of any life. I went to Mad at You Island and it was forsaken by any god. sir. Actually, we should be using fucking Reduvia for this. Hang on. What am I doing? There we go. Thank you, girl. Mad at You Island is a birdless lake. Nasty. Where Pythagoras, nasty, or no, it was Socrates, nasty, conducts his magic. Nasty. I went to Mad at You Island and there was no one except for one dark and shadowy figure hunched over an ancient table, but I wouldn't worry about it. And you know what? He was mad at you. How many upgrade items do I have? I have got some. That's fine. We'll head to the... It's specifically one stream where he had a joke stocks thing, so when the stream was funny, people wrote +2. This was later expanded to that version. It's now, like, completely escaped that stream joke.
Well, I took you no man to lay out your own.
Oh, that guy? That was the Eternal Hater. Don't worry about that guy. He's timeless. He exists outside of time. Oh, him? The Eternal Hater? The guy who hates eternally? Don't worry about him. What would you do if you were going on a date and you asked the other person what they did and they were like, oh, me? I'm a master of blades. Yeah, I seek to master all weapons. I love the semiotics of website-specific humor coming to be spreading and ubiquity. It's, fuck! My aura! I flubbed the line! Damn it! Nefeli, I need your help. I need to log in. Get his ass, Aurelia. Let's go, women. My aura, no! Oh well, back to the aura farms. Oh, that actually wasn't the phase transition. Whoops. Ah, shit. No, Nefeli. Oh, 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 oh. Bitch!
I am the Lord of all that
Now
is,
what's going on here?
and one day we'll return together to our home, bathed in rays of gold.
Pillar chunk. My pillar chunk. Safe and awesome under my pillar chunk. My pillar. Farewell.
What a pathetic Oh, he got what I tell you though. He had.
The greatest stream in the whole wild world. Visit mypillar.com. My, No, I can't tell that story. That could potentially dox one of my family members, but, like... one of my family members recently, like... I'm sure you can learn a lot about their personality from this, but they recently bought a MyPillow and was, like, really excited about it. Yeah. It's like trying to explain to my mom how, like, awesome and based it was. It's just funny, man. Like, I don't. You can't get super into that, like, but it's just fucking funny. I don't even know. I don't even know if that guy's still, like, in the administration like, still in the administration proper. I don't even care at this point, man. Like, it's whatever. Unsure of what that means. Congratulations or sorry. Head of the Department of Sleepyheads. Oh, dearest me, I dare say it's time for another little break. Meat Planet saying yup all the time has caused me to start saying it. Well, and we all fucking got it from Holly. Alright, break time. The varieties of magic are several, according to Asthanes. He claims to divine from water, balls, air, stars, lamps, bowls, and axes in many other ways. Pliny, of all animals, the mage, according to the deepest admiration, to the hyena, inasmuch as they have attributed magical skill to it, and specifically the ability to deprive men of their minds and draw them to itself. Suda, on the distinctions of varieties of magic. Sorcery, magia, and pharmakeia are different things. Even Numa himself, to whom no prophet was sent by God nor any holy angel, was compelled to perform hydromancy, water divination, to see images of gods in the water, or rather, the deceptions of demons, by whom he was told what sacred rites and observances he should establish. Varro again says that this variety of divination was brought over from the Persians, and he reports that it was employed by both Numa himself and subsequently by the philosopher Pythagoras. He employed both. He tells that when blood is used, the dead are too summoned up, and that this is called necromancy, nukromantia, in Greek. Whether this is called hydromancy or necromancy, it is the technique in which the dead appear to give prophecies. From Ogden. Auspicious. I do like that I've always enjoyed that terms like hydromancy and pyromancy, like, the actual things that people did that were called pyromancy was like looking at a fire and using it to tell the future. Like, they couldn't like move fire with their minds, but they could certainly look at it and see the future. All right, what are we doing now? I think we're heading to the Celia Crystal Tunnel at some point. And we want to get the magic wet blade so that we can put the cold affinity on the Misericord. Well, no, necromancy isn't just staring at bowls in the dark. It's also fucking. Like, you gotta add blood to the bowl. Then it's necromancy.
Oh, what a blessed thug, please. Please.
We should go unlock patches. They knew how to manifest fire pillars, but chose not to. Honestly, selfish of them. I do enjoy how much of ancient magic was like, I've invented a new way to talk to my dad who is dead.
What are you trying to start?
Hi, Boggart.
Show me, and I'll consider. I'm not in love. You're a shrewd first. All right. Things know you're bloody-eyed. Oh. All right then. I could be.
Give me prawn. I would like that prawn. Your podcast loader just tabbed out of this to tell me DAOC had dropped. Oh, shit. I forgot that dropped today. Well, enjoy that as well. I will always remark on how good Boggart's prawns look.
Please. Oh, yeah, thank you, kind. Did again. I see you are very to steady such. Please. Brave to most time. But you are no the volcano.
What is DAOC? It's a podcast I do with a couple other friends, Desperate Acts of Capitalism. It's been fun. Been running it for a few years. The new episodes are like way better. We had to stop because of the pandemic. But we've recently revived it. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Been doing that for a while. I don't usually let Dung Eater out of his cage. So close to listening through all the episodes of DAOC. There are some old ones that we've really got to redo. Like there's a couple that I've wanted to like revisit because like my skills as a researcher and a podcaster have like grown so much. Like there are some early episodes that are definitely like unedited, just us reading Wikipedia articles. And it's like, I don't know, it's you have higher standards for yourself. You develop higher standards for yourself. The WeWork saga is so bonkers. It's fucking crazy. I love that shit. The Will.I.Am one. I'm real proud of the one coming up. Which fucking episode just dropped? Because we record them like 3 months in advance. Someone who listens to Holly read Wikipedia lists, I think that's so fun, but I get what you mean for research. Yeah. It's like, you want to have something original to say that isn't just, like, you reading Wikipedia. Like, the thing with Holly streams is that, like, the wording of Wikipedia, like, Holly focuses on how, like, explicitly how Wikipedia phrases things, and that's really funny. Oh shit, I had no idea that shield was here. The taxi cab word. It's like, I wish I did more research on that one. That one is like, I listened to a fucking Dollop episode and like found some articles about it. Like, it's like, I would totally go back and like completely redo that one if that would actually be a fun one to completely redo. You guys are giving me ideas. The historical ones are really good. I have really enjoyed doing the historical ones. Fucking one of my followers on Tumblr reached out to me because they went to school for economics and like helped me do editing on the Mississippi bubble one. One for Zoom dropped like 15 minutes ago. No, it didn't. You're lying. And I know you're lying. Oh, not the Zoomy Pizza. Okay, yeah, that's an amazing one. Not the Zune like the Microsoft phone, the Zoom Pizza with an M. Okay. No, oh my god, fucking... I think that's the one where it's like, you can really see Armand getting into it. Like, it's like significantly more comfortable as a podcaster. That one was the... Highly recommend the Zoom Pizza episode. That shit was a fucking riot to listen to live. Remember speed walking through a Munich during a snowstorm listening to your Tulip Panic episode? That was such a fun one. How far back would you say the current... Yeah, like the post-COVID one. Like we've been internally referring to it as like season 2. Is the post-COVID episodes. Like, we took a huge break. Which is funny, because we missed, like, the entirety of the crypto craze. Which I'm kind of glad. that we did. Because it would be like every single episode that we would... If we were still producing that during the crypto craze, it would just be every episode. It would get boring really fast. But I really like the... I really like the rhythm we have of, like, Armand finding some weird startup thing and Evan finding, like, a media product that failed and me doing, like, weird historical ones. Yeah, James, that's true. A lot of people covered crypto, and I feel like we cover more, like, interesting stuff. Like, that's true. I want to try not to do, like, hot topic stuff. I think picking, like, weirder shit from history and contemporary culture is a lot more interesting. Yeah, and it's also, like, easy to make fun of the crypto guys. Like, not that it's not important or fun or something I enjoy listening to. It's just, like, not what I want to focus on with the podcast. Like, for a while, I've really wanted to do one on Kodak, like the camera company, because every time I, like, keep an eye out for topics, people always say, like, oh yeah, it's one of, like, the biggest business failures of the last, like, 200 years. And I don't know anything about the Kodak company or, like, what they did. So I've been interested in, like, checking that out. But some of the best ones are, like... I think the best DAOC episodes are, like, a normal company with an insane person running it. Like, that is the best thing. It's like a company that sells something very normal, like cash registers, and then it turns out the guy running the company is, like, an insane mobster with, like, weird eugenicist ideas. Like, that's the best possible thing you can get for a DAOC episode. McAfee. Yeah, the John McAfee episode. That's another one I'd like to redo. Like, worthy of a revisit, you know? Partially because there's just more to that story now. Kodak was one of the first people to figure out the Manhattan Project was happening because of consistent problems with their film. That is fascinating. That makes me want to do more research into that. That's really interesting. What am I doing up here? I don't know. Got me distracted talking about my podcast. Now I'm just having a nice time exploring the rivers and valleys of Liurnia. Like bread clips? The inventor's a terrible guy? No. Bread clips? You know, we've been doing this podcast for, like, almost 2 years now. Like, the second season now. I'm shocked by the amount of, like, historical products and companies that are just made by insane people. Like, insane, terrible, mean people. It's just funny. I didn't actually need to come up here. That's fine. Yeah, I don't want to walk all the way back down. Let's head to Liurnia. No. Let's go to the Celia Crystal Tunnel. Yes. Next, we're going to learn that the soy sauce fish were invented by some guy who believes he's blood related to Charlemagne. Yeah, that shit happens, like, all the time. It's crazy. I remember learning about fucking the Yum Brands guy, like the dude that runs, like, PepsiCo, or the parent company that runs PepsiCo, is, like, a normal guy, and being, like, so happy about that. It's like, yeah, the guy who makes, like, Doritos and shit is just, like, normal. And seems like he's good at being a CEO. I don't even like CEOs, and I was just like so happy that this guy like wasn't an insane racist. Humans are just kind of like fucking nuts. It's one of the things that I like about studying occult history is that people are just fucking weird as hell. And they're always weird as hell in ways that are both familiar and new. You know? Like there's so many different ways to just be off your goddamn rocker, but people always end up putting new twists on old favorites, and I love that. I got completely fucking turned around. Okay, here. James O. Welch Company, creator of Junior Mints, ended up funding the John Birch Society? Yup. It's always like, especially with shit like the John Birch Society, it's always like a dude that invented something stupid. It's like the guy that invented gummy cigarettes or something is like the 80% owner and founder of the Turbo Racism Society. Sometimes it is a guy who's like, I have an oil company, and I also run like a ultra right-wing propaganda company. It's like, that makes sense, right? That's par for the course, though. Those guys were supposed to do shit like that. But then every once in a while you get like, yeah, I'm the guy who like contracts with China to produce the plastic turtle toys that they have in every dentist's candy box or some shit. And yeah, it turns out that guy's like a multi-billionaire, and he like, I don't know, like, runs a private organization that steals from poor people or some shit. It's just funny. The fake Cajun guy who said guarantee was a huge segregationist. They fucking always are. Hit me. No? Okay. Not a money thing, but I know in my hometown had a not comically evil cult one time. Yeah, I think like every American small town has at least one kind of weird cult or like nascent cult in it. I also live in Southern California. Like, I've talked about this before, but like my mom has had problems trying to, like, she loves yoga. Just like, it's a really good way to like exercise as you're getting older. Like, it's just genuinely good for you. But my mom has had problems where she's had to stop going to like 4 or 5 different yoga studios because they keep turning out to be cults. I used to live like literally 10 minutes away from the first yoga cult in America, like the original yoga cult. I used to just like live down the street from them. Or was it a Val stream? I don't know. Southern California is just like full of shit like that. Just all the time, everywhere. Can you fucking stop for 2 seconds? Thank you. Excuse me, gentlemen. I need your stones. Oh yeah, the book Conspirituality. That's such a good book. Highly, highly recommended. Co-signed. Co-signed. Thumbs up. +2. Read Conspirituality. Aurelia, please get his ass. Thank you. Crystallians are like way more interesting to fight with daggers. They do have golem Aufprog ass hair. That's so true. Come on, break. You're inspired by a choose your own adventure book? Yes! I actually played that when I was younger. It's what the fuck is it called? I know the exact thing that you're talking about, though. I played through all those. It's the Steve Jackson Games one, right? There we go. Get out of here. Alright, now that we've got the bell bearing, we can head back and saw Steve Jackson at Dragon Con. He was on a panel on Munchkin. Yeah, I've met him before, actually. Seems like a very nice guy.
Those are of a chat fine and what.
Okay, so 3 tier 1s. I have a Steve Jackson tabletop game on my shelf called Illuminati. Yup, that's a good-ass game. You should play it. Extremely 80s. Let's see, what's our next order of business?
Back all no matter.
We should go visit E.G. Yes. The fighting fantasy books? No. It's the Elden Ring is like heavily inspired by this one Choose Your Own Adventure series. I forget what the fuck it's called though. God damn it. It's like a huge part of my childhood. I loved that fucking series. I just can't remember what the hell it's called. Sorcery. I think that's it. I think it's literally just called Sorcery. They're books. Yeah, I could have sworn it was just like a one-word title. No, there's a character on the cover of one of them. It's like a kind of jester-looking guy who's like holding a staff like out at a weird angle, and fucking Gideon is standing in that exact same pose when you go to fight him. It's like Gideon is like directly inspired by the villain from that series. Sorcery was a big part of my childhood. Yeah, you would say that. Caught. Oh yeah, the singing harpy lady. We love women. Yeah, the singing harpies only appear in like a couple specific locations. It's cool. And if I recall correctly, I believe the song they're singing is the same song in the chorus of the Elden Beast theme. You know when the child choir kicks in and the theme gets all badass? I think it's the same song. Don't quote me on that, though. I fucking love when FromSoft games have, like, the leitmotif of the final boss is also the title theme. That shit rules so hard. They did that for fucking Slave Knight Gale. You know, I think in terms of all of FromSoft, like, music moment history, I don't think anything will beat the the phase transition to Ludwig the Holy Blade. That shit goes so insanely hard. You were by my side all along. My true mentor. My guiding moonlight. What a crazy fucking moment that was. Especially with the red herring and reversal of like, yeah. Don't worry. The Moonlight Blade is totally in the base game. Yeah. No, you've seen it. It's just like a little different in this game. Guess what, fucker? It's also in the DLC. That's a don't even look that up on YouTube moment. Like, you gotta, like, play Bloodborne. Like, they've made a stable 60 FPS version of it for the PC now. And it's definitely, legitimately acquirable. That, like, don't even look that one up on YouTube. You gotta explore that one yourself. Oh, do I not have enough souls?
Well, then I presume. Something.
Fine, whatever. Where are we going now? Other half of the medallion. Gonna go to Fort Height. Wait, Bloodborne on PC is real? It's a mod. It's a definitely legitimate mod that you can play. I'll find a link to it once the stream is over. Is it playable on Steam Deck? No idea. Haven't the foggiest, my friend. Shit. Hi. It's good as fuck. Everyone should play Bloodborne. I love that game. beating the fuck out of that game. Hi. Bitch. Get fucked. I'm horrible with those kinds of games, but goddamn I want to try it. I think Bloodborne is actually a pretty good place to start in that case. It's just dodge. You just gotta dodge. Wait and attack. Dodge until the enemy is done attacking, and then attack. They've got a combo. Wait until the combo's over, then hit them. Also, Bloodborne's leveling is very forgiving. Like, if you're struggling with a challenge, you can just grind, because every level increases your physical defense, like, against all damage. So you can pretty much level your way past most threats. Just block, forehead. Remember how they said that the plank shield is going to be increasingly important on successive playthroughs, and then that wasn't true at all? I'm so bad at Souls games, which is weird because I'm good at Monster Hunter. They are so different. Like, they're as somebody who got into Monster Hunter like recently in the Rise era, like, they are ostensibly similar, but the way that you actually approach and play both games and both types of games is like shockingly different. The attitudes and mindsets that you have going into each game is like very, very different. Yeah, Monster Hunter was way harder than Souls games for me. Yeah, you tank a lot more in Monster Hunter. Well, and the game expects you to learn the monster's movesets, like, significantly more than in Dark Souls and stuff. Like, I think I know a Rathalos' moveset better than most enemies in Souls games. Like, bosses in Souls games are kind of like puzzles for you to solve. Like, you can do it with positioning and timing and, like, learning the enemies, but there's also, like, an element of build crafting to it. But Monster Hunter is much more about, like, positioning and learning how something moves. Like, it's more about reacting to the monster than it is about building your character and beating another guy at a thing. Monster Hunter fights are long, too. Not how I play it, brother. Okay, where are we going? Let's go talk to Ouija again. At least in World, I haven't played the newer ones. I got the most recent one, and I shouldn't have paid $60 for that, man. It was like my second Monster Hunter game ever, and I was really excited to get it, but it was not fucking worth the money, dog. If you aren't an aggressive player, hunts can be so long. Yeah. When I play Charge Blade, which is like maybe it's up there with Twin Blades for being the fucking remind me of your usual Monster Hunter build again. You mentioned it once on Tumblr. Okay, in the new one, I play fucking Charge Blade with like weakness flare and weakness exploit, right? Because the Charge Blade's wound attack is very, very good and is very useful for stunning monsters, and like if you play it right, you can effectively just stun lock the monster. Like, they never get a chance to attack. It's really cool. There's lag spikes on PS5 Pro. I don't have the beefiest computer on the planet Earth, but fucking half the time shit just doesn't load. It's just polygon mush. Like, that game is patently unfinished. It was not worth $60. If you're planning on buying Monster Hunter Wilds, just fucking don't until they come out with the inevitable expansion that fixes everything and adds all the actual monsters that you want to play. I recently beat Rise, and that was pretty fun. I fucking loved Malenzo. That was such a cool fight. The fucking... I love the concept of Ibushi and Narwa, and to a lesser extent Gyasmagorm, but the fights aren't very fun. The literal Satan monster. I thought Gyasmagorm was pretty cool. And he's less like literal Satan, and he's more like a fucking... He's like a Buddhist demon. If you read any occult stuff where you can respect the breadth and internal consistency, but you have to say, come on now, this is silly. Manly P. Hall. That is fucking Manly P. Hall to a T. Somebody asked me on Tumblr the other day, like, hey, what do you think of Secret Teaching of All Ages? And it's like... It is at least an internally consistent occult history, but he draws some real wacky-ass, like, Mormon pseudo-history connections. He's like, it's actually a pretty good survey of occult history as, like, as a history, but in terms of, like, historical rigor, it's shit. It engages in, like... So we all know that America was founded when a group of Greek people got lost at sea and then traveled up the Mississippi River and started having children with the Haudenosaunee and founded America back in, like, the 4th century. Where it's like, come on, man, that's cool. Like, that's really funny, but, like, that didn't happen. It's like... I like Manly P. Hall. I've been to the fucking Philosophical Research Society building, like, library and up in LA. The people there are, like, nice. They're not, like, weirdo conspiracy theorists. They're like actual historians, you know. They understand what they're dealing with here. But Manly P. Hall was a bit of a wackadoo, but it's like he wasn't weird about the Jews. He's not like a freakish anti-Freemason type guy. Like, he's like the most rah-rah America type of guy, you know. He's very much a, like, a white boy who gets into the Bhagavad Gita type dude, and it's fine. Like, he could have been so much worse. He's not good at history, and you shouldn't, like, believe what he says about history, but it could have been so much worse, man. Yeah, they've done, like, a lot in the field of, like, digitizing weird historical texts from, like, the 1960s and shit. Yeah, kill 6 billion demons outcome? Yup. It's like, don't get me wrong, he still engages in some, like, mildly problematic pseudo-histories, but, like, when you're talking about, like, white boys getting into occult history, it's like, it could have been so much worse, dog. It's like, you're sharing a field with, like, literal, actual Hitler. So there's a low bar to cross, but you can cross it. The Popol Vuh did not influence this French alchemical text. Yeah, that type of shit. All right. We got Kaled all up and running. What are we doing? What are we going for? Do we want to go open up Celia? Nah, we probably don't need to do that yet. Let's go to fucking, let's go to fucking Altus. That sounds like an excellent idea. No, like, Secret Teaching of All Ages is, like, fine. You can do way worse, and it's not a bad, like... As long as you understand what you've got in your hands, it's not a bad way to approach occult history. There are certainly worse ways to do it. And secret teaching of all ages is definitely the type of shit that, like, I want to correct with my own book. You know, I want to, like, the fact that it's, like, one of the better options that you have, but is still, like, wildly incorrect about a lot of shit is, like, part of why I'm writing a book myself. Are these streams going to be recorded as VODs? Yup. My VOD channel is linked on my Tumblr in my pinned post, and you can use command !Discord to check out the Discord, where all of those links are also present. Yay! Yippee! Yay! Yay, 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 yay! James, Plum doesn't do anything. James, if you want Plum to do something, you can make it do something. Cheese. I remember reading a New Agey book I found at a local metaphysical store about sacred geology. Sacred geology or sacred geometry? The author claims to have met the real Midgard serpent outside a hotel in Norway. That's fucking awesome. That's so cool. If you can find the title of that, send it, like, post it in the Discord. That sounds awesome. Imagine meeting a guy out of a hotel and they're like, yeah, I'm the Serpent of Midgard. I'm Nidhogg. What's up? I'd be like, cool, man. Hi, Nidhogg. Yggdrasil pulling up outside the Holiday Express in Trondheim. Yup, you know it, sister. 5 missed calls from Jormungand. Yeah. Okay. Also, chat, thank you for, like, being funny while I'm playing the game so I don't have to. One of the best things about streaming is that at a certain point of popularity, you don't even really have to be funny. You just need funny people in chat, and you can just, like, ride their clout forever. Accent is Brooklyn. Hey, what's up? I'm Nidhogg. How's it going? What are you doing? Welcome to Brooklyn. I'm the Serpent of Midgard. Taking 9 steps after talking to some guy and succumbing to the serpent's wicked venom. Serpent Nidhogg showing up to a party. Hoggy! Hi, Flame of Frenzy. Thought the World Serpent was Jormungandr. Fuck! You're right. My aura! My academic authority! No! Hey, I'm coiling around the world tree here. Very good first time chat. Thank you for that. Hi, welcome to chat. May chaos take the world. Hey, hi, welcome to the stream. May chaos take the world. Hey, I'm devouring my own tail here. Alright, let's try and fight him. Shit. Bitch. bitch. It's happening. It will happen. It was fated to happen. Shit! Oh, come on! No, no, no. It was fated to happen. I was never nervous. It was meant to be this way. It was written in the clouds. I was never worried. It is known. It is known among the wise. Men will see their own tail and say, is anyone going to eat that? And then not wait for an answer. And then suddenly they symbolizing. I love loading. I love loading. Hi, Altus. To hold the balance of the world against Brooklyn Gondar, we need Baal with an inexplicable Dutch accent. You know, one of my favorite things about Hades 2 is the fact that they gave Scylla like an inexplicable Midwestern accent. They're like, yeah, you know, Scylla from Minnesota. It feels completely appropriate though, which is wild. They're like, yeah, no, that I can totally, for some reason, their version of Scylla that's like a fucking rockabilly from the Twin Cities is just like, yeah, that feels correct. Fargo Fenrir. I was thinking about fucking Hades the other day. Like, it's really funny that they had, like, they did the whole, like, gay, relatable version of Greek mythology. You know, it's like, they removed all the sexual assault and murder and depravity, but then they kept, they kept the bit where you sleep with your sister. That shit's funny, man. Like, no. Greece didn't, like, procreate with someone in the shape of a bull or anything. But no. Hades definitely did sleep with his sister. That's fucking funny, man. Like, I know they're Greek gods, but, like, that's funny. Isn't Demeter adopted or something? I don't know. I can only get so far into, like, other interpretations of... There's so much media that requires, like, here's my version of Greek mythology, and I'm like, I don't want to keep track of it too hard. They hand-waved it by being blood-related at least. Like, yeah, I don't really care that much. It's just, like, it's a really funny writing choice. Getting to the point of Elden Ring where you can just beat the shit out of the tree sentinels was so rewarding. Yup. Well, they're the fucking, they're the Taurus demons of this game. They're the thing that you fight in the early game as a boss, but then come back later as, like, normal enemies. That shit rules. I love it when games do that. Ancient Greek shipping discourse would have been insane. It kind of was! Like, the fact that a lot of mythology depicts the gods as, like, rapacious and evil and temperamental was, like, very controversial. You could get accused of, like, what was effectively, like, impiety for thinking that the gods actually acted like that.
I declare through under those bliss my comrade.
This is the Plato versus Xenophon Achilles discourse all over again. Yeah, exactly. It's always been like this. It has always been like this. How dare you draw gore of my comfort character? It's like, yeah, how dare you depict my comfort god as, like, being rapacious and temperamental? They are perfect and unchanging. I need all mystical New Age visionaries to get on Richard Leviathan's fucking level. Your comfort god is Dionysus. I think mine's Hestia, actually. Hestia's always been my favorite Greek god. She doesn't do shit. She's not causing problems. She's the god of grilling. Got a pork chop to grill? Fucking hell yeah. Hestia's got your back. Her fucking... The traditional libation to Hestia was pork fat. You pour pork fat into the fucking fire. That... Look me in the eyes and tell me she is not the god of throwing shit on the barbecue. That shit rules. Like, if... That's my goddess right there. Hester just smoking some meat. Hell yeah, brother! You forgot that I'm into cooking. Well, I don't really talk about it. It's my offline hobby, so I don't go insane. I do wish they would stop adapting out the ugly parts of the mythology. There's also, like, precedent for doing that, though. Like, it's fine. I don't... Like, I don't really care if they're like, no, don't include the incest. Like, it's whatever. People can... It's fine. I just think it's specifically funny that Hades was like, let's take out a lot of the problematic things, but still have the sleeping with your sister bit. That's just funny. I don't think it's like a moral indictment of them. It's just funny. Godhood be damned, my girl can work a grill. Yup, you know it, sister. Sometimes it becomes, like, millennial soup. It's like... I think that's just, like, more a problem of a lot of writing tropes these days. Like, people want everything to be kind of, I don't know, precious and unproblematic or whatever. I don't know. It's like, you gotta let people be complicated. You gotta let your characters be interesting and multifaceted. You gotta let them do bad shit. But also, it's like, if you want to use Greek mythology as a backdrop to write some, like, I don't know, like, semi-indulgent romantic story, that's fine. I'm not gonna read it. It's not bad. Coffee shop pantheon EU. It's like, yeah, there's, like, nothing wrong with writing that. I just don't want to read it. He's told Persephone to be proud of being Italian. I don't know what that is, but that's funny. This is funny to imagine that. Proud of being Sicilian! Yeah! Oh my god, I think I have heard of that. That shit's funny. I think people hear shit like that and they, like, want the author to be, like, a bad person or something. It's like, no, they can just make a mildly funny writing decision. That shit's funny. I think that's one of the worst impulses about, like, being online these days, is, like, you find somebody who, like, does something mildly embarrassing and kind of funny. And people kind of go out of their way to try and make them, like, a bad person. Like, oh, they must be, like, racist or evil or something. It's like, nah, people just do embarrassing shit that's funny sometimes. It's fine. I don't know. You gotta have some empathy for that. Like, even mild internet success will lead you to doing shit like that at some point. I think it's funny that some people say they like Greek mythology, but they mean coffee shop. Yeah, they can't even read classical Greek. What a bunch of losers. You don't even understand it unless you've read it in the original Koine. Casuals, fake gamers. I try to have, like, measured scorn for that type of thing, because it's also, like, I'm glad that people are interested in it, and if I can, like, get people to take their, like, you know, mildly adolescent interest in Greek mythology and then convert that into a love of, like, learning about the history of classics and stuff, like, more, again, more power to them. I think that's great. I think we need more of that. I think it's... I believe deeply in the importance of consuming dog shit along with non-dog shit. Like, I enjoy reading, like, really, really good novels and really, really trash novels, like, back to back. You know, like, I've recently been getting into Nabokov, but I've also been reading some really dog shit web novels. And, like, because I think more often than not, you start seeing connections between them that you wouldn't otherwise consider. You know, things that the dogshit indulgent web novel does that are very similar to things that, like, Vladimir Nabokov, a celebrated author, does. It's very, like, artistically humbling. It's easy to read dog shit and consider yourself better than the dog shit, but you always have to remember that things are popular for a reason, and just because you don't like it doesn't mean it's not doing everything wrong, you know? Riverdale keeps me humble and worldly. Well, I think at a certain point, Riverdale is, like, being bad on purpose. You know, I think what makes Riverdale interesting is that it's, like, a bunch of, like, 2012, like, fandom kids on Tumblr that got access to a writer's room, like a real-ass CW show writer's room, and just kind of went nuts with it. And that's fun. That's fucking wild. I love that that exists as a thing in the world. I think it's good that Riverdale exists, but it's not, like, trying to be good, you know? Nod sagely, like Star Wars. Kinda, yeah. Yeah, they're generating schlock on purpose for the purposes of, like, schlock generation. And I think that's wise. I think that's righteous and true. I don't know. Like, I think hate reading is, like, spiritually lesser. The idea of hate reading something is, like, stupid. Like, just allow it to be what it is. Try not to, like, pass judgment on things. But also, like, recognize when dog shit is dog shit, but recognize that dog shit doesn't mean that something is, like, lesser. You know? It's important to expose yourself to dog shit for, like, reasons of personal and artistic growth as a person. Finding a self-published novel and, like, annotating it with your friends. Yeah, that's fun. Like, that's a good, like, artistic exercise. But it's also important. It pisses me off when people, like, take shit like that and they turn it into, like, a, like, lolcow adjacent thing. Like, they're like, look at how dog shit this is. Let's, like, make fun of it and be shitty to the author and, like, mean to them. It's like, nah, that's like a little mean. It's like, just let things be dog shit and enjoy them for what they are. It's fine. Where am I? Oh, I went a little too low. Damn. Say that like Werner Herzog. The poet must not avert his eyes. All right. Where are we going? What are we doing? Do we want to go to Volcano Manor? Open that up? Yeah, why not? Let's do that. To publish anything in the first place is a wild act of bravery that I must always expect. Yeah, like, it's... the thing you see on Tumblr all the time of, like, people making fun of the fanfiction bitches for being bad at writing, but it's like, they wrote a thing and put it out in public, and you didn't, right? Like, you fucking do it, bitch. like even if, like, doesn't mean their shit isn't dog shit, though, right? You can... But I think making any art ever is kind of arrogant. Like, there's an inherent arrogance to making anything ever. Like, especially like streaming. Like, this is me sitting down to say, like, yeah, I think that your limited time on Earth, like your fundamentally limited and mortal time on this Earth, you should, for the next 2 to 3 hours, listen to me talk about whatever, right? And this is worthy of your limited mortal time on Earth. And, like, what's crazy about that is that there's, like, at least 100 of you that are like, yes, I agree. That can go straight to your fucking head, right? Like, the idea of being like, yes, my words and opinions and art is, like, worthy of people spending their limited time on this earth paying attention to it. And then, like, 100 people, like, agree with you. That's nuts. It's like a confirmation of the bias, you know? And I think people make fun of the fanfiction bitches for the wrong reasons, you know? It's like, yeah, some art is bad. Like, you see people saying shit on the internet like, this genre fiction is kind of bad. Like, yeah, welcome to fucking genre fiction, dumbass. Like science fiction has always been kind of dog shit, you know? Like, a lot of classic sci-fi authors are, like, bad at it. I think most people that win Hugo Awards from the last, like, 20 years are, like, not good writers. You know? It's maybe the most arrogant thing I've ever thought about myself, but I think I could get a Hugo Award with, like, minimal effort. And that's fine. It's, like, it's whatever. I'm not saying that I'm, like, inherently better as a person than these other authors. I'm just saying that, like, genre fiction, historically, has not had high standards. And that's part of the fun. It's part of the culture. Feel that way about romance novels? I have so much fucking respect for romance writers. People don't understand, like, romance audiences, it is an audience that knows exactly what it wants, right? If you've ever seen the contracts that romance writers, like, get, it's like, the book needs to be exactly this many words long, like, within 2,000 words. You need to hit exactly these plot points at exactly these tropes at exactly this point in the book. Being a professional romance writer requires a massive, like, surgical control over writing as a craft. It is genuinely incredibly impressive what romance writers are able to do. I have an enormous amount of respect for them, and I'm not even, like, half joking about that. I'm being completely serious. Like, every romance writer has literally surgical control over writing as a craft, and it's deeply impressive. Like, I wouldn't be able to write a popular romance novel. People talk about that shit like it's easy, and not like... It's like the difference between creating an artfully designed object and, like, a functional object, you know? I've talked about this on Tumblr before, but I think a lot more writing is closer to engineering than people say it is, and writing good romance, or, like, sellable romance as a product, is a perfect example of, like, writing as craft. Not art, but craft. There is some art in there. There's room for art in the romance genre, but that's writing as craft. And if you want to get better at just, like, thinking of a book, structuring it, and then putting it onto fucking paper in a timely manner, you fucking study romance writers and you put some fucking respect on their name, okay? It has to be extremely formulaic without feeling formulaic. Yup. Yeah, like, exactly. No, like, okay, if there's anything... Now that I've, like, sung the praises of romance writers, we have to make fun of the fanfiction bitches a little bit. But here's my gripe. Nobody makes fun of the fanfiction bitches accurately, right? Everyone... The gripe I have with a lot of, like, fanfiction writing culture is that they don't understand their own fucking history, right? It's all this, like, Dante was actually a fanfiction author. It's like, no, he wasn't. It doesn't prefigure any of the culturally relevant elements of fanfiction. He wasn't doing that in any meaningful sense of the word. You're just trying to impart a false sense of, like, authority on fanfiction as a genre, which is stupid because it's interesting in and of itself. in my opinion, fan fiction cannot exist without, like, it can't exist without notions of fandom, right? You need the modern notion of fandom for it to be interesting, or to have. You need the modern notion of fandom and like mass media culture to have fan fiction, and so fan fiction as a medium has its roots in spec scripts. Nobody knows about fucking spec scripts these days, right? Like, it used to be that, like, you could just write a script for an episode of TV and send it in, and they would make it and give you money for it. And there was, like, a thriving culture of that, especially during fucking the early days of, Star Trek. Like, there were a lot of early Trek episodes that were just a script a fan sent in, right? That shit's cool as hell. And that, like, I've said this before, I think a lot of fanfiction authors these days should study film and TV writing, because a lot of the ways that fanfiction is paced and structured mimics the TV shows and, like, media that they are pulling from. Like, a lot of the tropes within fanfiction are paced and structured and have the genre expectations of spec script writing. And I think if you write fan fiction, you should dig into that part of the culture, because I think it sheds a lot of light on how fan fiction is structured. Like, that shit's really interesting. It's a genuinely unique form of writing that has no precedent. Like, it's a genuinely new thing. It has, like, historical precedent in that, like, all right, I can't parry this guy. It has historical precedent in the sense that, like, people sharing fan letters and magazines about, like, Sherlock Holmes and shit, like serials, was one of the proto fan fiction culture. But it really is a new thing, and that's super interesting. And it bugs me when people, like, try to assign this, like, faux historical relevance to fan fiction when it has, like, genuinely interesting components of the genre that are entirely unique to it. What's a good place to look up spec scripts? I have no idea. It's been a while since I've, like, been in writing classes.
Rise with us. Your decision now. The drawing. I am 10.
As one of the fan fiction bitches, I've literally never heard of spec scripts before. I'll need to look that up. Yes, do it. Do it. Enrich yourself. No, that shit's fascinating. The internet is such a, like, traditional publishing is so fucked right now, but there's never been, like, a better and a worse time to be an independent author, I think. People are too preoccupied with establishing validity on a historical basis. Yeah. Stop trying to beat historians. You're not going to win at someone else's game. Yup. From what I now know, modern fanfic was born from Star Trek TOS. No. Modern fanfiction has its origins in, like, people discussing serial novels. Slash fiction has its origins in TOS. Hi, Mackie. How was your nap? Sorry if I was yelling and I woke you up. I don't even like fanfiction and I know all this shit. I'm just interested in, like, how writing is produced and consumed in modern culture. That shit's really interesting to me. Ma'am, you're not allowed on my desk, even if you do a big stretch. Excuse me. Thank you, baby girl. Kirk and Spock invented being gay. They kind of did. Like, I've literally never read slash fiction in my entire life, and I know this shit. Stream keeps hitching because I'm downloading too many PDFs. The scholar's lament, the modern scholar's lament of downloading too many PDFs that you can't hear people talk about, like, writing on the internet. Shit. I give up. Here, let's go back to EG real quick. Let's upgrade everything. Let's see. You know what? We've been live for like 3.5 hours. Goddamn. Okay. Shit. We should probably wrap up here. I've got shit to do later today. But, hey, thank you guys for joining. I wouldn't be able to do shit like this without you. Oh, yeah, remember, streams like this are only possible because you guys support me on Patreon. No obligation, but if you wanna throw me money, help me pay my bills, I would really appreciate it. I will be back next week, and hopefully I won't be like tummy poisoned, and I'll have like more actual history shit to talk about. Alright, let me shut this fucking down. Alright, let's see who's live right now. Let's see if I can't raid you guys into anyone. Nobody that I know. Oh no, Trog is live. Here, go watch Trog play Blueprints. I think this is how it works. I don't know, make up your own raid message, I don't give a shit. Have a good day, Stinky. I am not Stinky!